Hi, friends. Welcome to Grow to Succeed. It's your place to learn to succeed. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am super happy today because I have one of the fantastic persons who is connecting with me today from Finland. Finland is famous for its Finnish education model. And I'm so happy Mr. Pervez Sheikh, who is the director of engineering and product management in one of the reputed organizations in Finland. Not just that, he's also a tech savvy leader. And I am sure you should not miss an opportunity to go to his LinkedIn profile. Just search for Parvez Sheikh, and you will be blown away with the kind of expertise he carries and the kind of contribution he has made to the organizations as well as to the entire world in the field of engineering, product management, as well as the cybersecurity. Sir, thank you so much for joining with us today. I'm so happy to have you.
Yeah, likewise, Wasim. Thank you so much for inviting. It's what the words you said were really humbling, and thank you so much.
Amazing, sir. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I know it's Sunday. Sunday is, I usually tell to all my students that Sunday is a fun day, right? And Sunday is primarily designed to have some leisure time, spend time with family, and then go out and then relax and then, do a lot of good things so that, we can refresh and then be again back to work on Mondays. All right. So thank you so much again. Really appreciate your time, sir.
Yeah.
So my question is, I really want to talk about your life journey from a student life to becoming the director of engineering and the project management, and how did this entire journey started? Did you really have the plans of becoming a director in one of the reputed institutions, in the companies of especially in Finland? So can we talk about your journey? How were you as a student? What challenges did you face?
Oh, sure, sure. I mean, so if we go way back, I started, or how should I put it? So my education system from the schooling part was not that challenging, so to say. Of course, we had some of our family challenges where getting some privileges, as one would call, was a bit difficult. So we had to work hard for it. So I still remember once our father passed away and my mom took the control of the whole family. We quickly realized that it's not going to work that only one person would support the whole family. So we were all four siblings with our mom and our grandmother. So now that I think about it 30 years after where I am right now,
Mhm.
it's quite nothing, so to say. Like, and everybody can do it. Like, I used to help my mom with giving distributing newspapers early in the morning and milk packets and things like that, which kind of brought in some amount of money. But what it did was, personally, it gave a lot of confidence as well for
Right.
me, because while I was paying my own school fee every month, of course, there was a lot of support from our family members. There are a lot of people I would like to thank, and I'm indebted to them in our
Hmm.
family. But when it comes to the schooling, I did study until my 10th in Hanmakonda. It's close to Varanasi, small town. I did study from some St. Peter's High School. And after that, I studied in a government college for
Oh,
my intern. I did the vocational course of electronics over there. Was my favorite subject. And after that, I did my degree in Arts and Science College, Kazipet. And there my majors was also electronics and math. So during all this duration, from my 10th to the completion of my degree, I was also doing a part-time job, which was a very
right.
steady job. After my college, I used to go there, work till 10 p.m. in the night, and then go home and did some study. I was the person who was running that business was also very supportive. He was a very educated man, and he knew the importance of education. So he
Right.
supported me pretty well, paid me healthy, and every time when there was my exams, he used to give me a month off so that I could complete my exams and come back. So it was really humbling. There were so many people who helped me be
Right.
it the situation where I'm right now. And throughout, I was a bit of something what we call an above average. I was not an excellent student.
Hmm.
So I would say, like, I didn't top any boards, I didn't top any good exam sets or things like that. But I had a very steady pace. I never was below 70%, so to say, if we
Oh,
are counting
okay.
marks, right? So all of this was very motivating, and I would say the person I am right now is because of that particular duration between my ages of 14 to 20,
Right.
where I had to go through all these hardship,
Hmm.
but yet the hardship wasn't really difficult because I was seeing the results every day
Right.
while I was. And then what happened after that was completely magical for me because
Hmm.
as soon as I finished my BSc from Kakatiya University, I got a job within Warangal. It was then a major telephone industry, Tata Indicom, which doesn't
Right.
exist, right?
Hmm.
But while I was working there, I was also looking for different opportunities. And this is something I really want all of your students
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
future aspirants for job to know
Right.
is you don't really have to apply for a job all the time with the major companies. You have to be more creative in looking into the right data or the
Hmm.
right opportunity, which I will also speak a bit later. But what happened was at that point, one of the biggest IT companies in India called Wipro Technologies, they had a
Right.
very unique program. They were inviting all the graduates for
Hmm.
an entrance test for a university called BITS Pilani, which is quite famous, I hope you
Right.
know. And what they did was, if we had cleared that entrance for BITS planning,
Hmm.
they would enter us into a contract for a 4-year contract, through
Right.
which from Monday to Friday, we would work for all the real-time projects
Hmm.
for their own
Hmm.
customers. And on Saturday and Sunday, we would actually enter into BITS campus and work for a Master of Science
Right.
program under software engineering.
Hmm.
It was really exciting. I went, took up the exam, and to my surprise, I was, for once, I topped that. That was my first
Right.
time I ever topped any
Okay.
entrance exam.
All right.
So again, after that, there was two rounds of quick interviews, and then a week later, I got a mail saying that I got enrolled into it, and that was like one of the best moments in my life.
Right.
And this happened back in 2004. I joined
Hmm.
Wipro, and since then, that's where my actual corporate industry life started.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. I think fantastic journey. And congratulations on topping that exam, sir. So you
Like I
made it
said, that was my first time, and I would
first
really
time.
encourage all the people who are listening right
Right.
now to not disheartened just
Yeah.
because you are not scoring well in your entrances or any SATs or things like that. You
Right.
you have bright life, and there is a lot more you can do later.
Absolutely. And I totally agree what you said, not to be disheartened. So, dear students, I am sure you must have heard Sir stating, explaining and walking us through his entire life, starting from student life until he got into the company, right? So, the key points which I can take away from your um, experience, sir, is number one, you used to drop newspapers door to door while
Yeah,
you were studying. And
yes,
you also studied in a government college. That's
that's right.
that's super surprising for me because uh, that is actually making me speechless because the kind of a journey you had, I'm sure even I can think about APJ Abdul Kalam, who literally faced lots of challenges. He used to walk, s- longer distances only to reach institution, the schools,
Indeed.
and then he used to come back and he did not find food. And then ultimately he used to do a lot of things, and then finally he made it. He never compromised with his education. He always stick to educating himself, and then finally he did become one of the best scientists on the planet, and of course one of the best presidents of India.
Indeed.
um,
And I'd just like to say that I take a lot of inspiration from Kalam sir, and I would also like to clarify my experiences are nowhere close to him. He's a great
Absolutely.
man. his
Yeah.
achievements are nowhere close to mine. So thank you for comparing, but I'd like to keep it away.
Yeah. I
He's
just want to
really
give
right.
that
He's
pulse
done
to the
great.
students not to be disheartened, because the great things happen with those small little things, right? And if we can bypass, if we can overcome those small little challenges which happens at the early stages, I think we should consistently keep working towards it, because our focus has to be to become something best in our life, and the opportunities will be created, like how the opportunities were created for you, sir. You did get an opportunity, you never topped any of the exams, but finally you made it, right? You topped one of the exams, you were qualified for the higher studies and so on, and then finally today you are the director in one of the biggest companies, and now yes, you are in Finland, which is actually providing one of the best education model. Now, what suggestion do you have to all those students, people who are right now facing the hardships, the challenges in their life, and they really want to become something in their life by acquiring the education?
Indeed. So I think, at least from my personal learnings, what I would like to recommend to people who are currently going through hardship is that, like everything in your life, what you're going through right now is not permanent. It will
Right,
change. You will have a time where you will just think about these things 10 or 15 years later and thank yourself that you have been in your hardships, because that will work, that will make you a better person for future. Like entitlement can take you only so far, but
right,
when you struggle and when you're humble and when you're being as good as possible, giving your best to what you're doing right now, be rest assured, you will be in a very better situation than your life. So please keep doing it. And if there is anything you can do to support your family while you're struggling and while you're studying, please try to, get some kind of outside experience. It could be any old job. It could be something like helping somebody somewhere, as well as going into a commercial shop or something like that, and ask them how you can help. Once you gain those experiences, I think it will give you a right perspective of what you want to achieve, and after that nobody can stop you. So that would be my recommendation. Don't be disheartened with the level of education you're getting or with the level where you are with your education, because there is, at some point, everybody has a point where they will get a click in their brain which kind of lets you grasp everything. Maybe now is not the time because you're feeling it difficult, but trust me, in a year or two or even less, you will talk everything.
yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing that. And I also strongly believe that uh, a problem is temporary and
Yeah,
solution is permanent, right? So we should never compromise with a temporary thing, because there is something that is some amazing thing that's going to come on our way. And I also strongly believe that as long as we are alive, the problems are there. And
exactly.
we are the only people, I think humankind is the only creature in the universe who has got the ability to solve the problems, because we have the ability to think, analyze, evaluate, and then we can do miracles if we can make up our mind, right? And also I strongly believe, students, yes, the problems will be there. The problem exists because the solution is there, right? It's interrelated. As long as
Yeah,
the problem is there, the solution is always there. Maybe the intensity of solution will be low, but yes, if you can start working towards it with 100% dedication, commitment, I am sure the solution will be a permanent, and you can bring a fantastic change in your life and as well as in the society and to the country. And of course,
yeah,
challenges will also be there. In every challenge, remember one thing: there is a hidden opportunity. You just have to, find that hidden opportunity. Thank you
yeah.
so much, sir, for sharing your insights. And because now you are, director of engineering, product management, and of course, your expertise is also primarily in the cybersecurity. We are living in a digital age, 21st century, right? So, like never before, we are living in a digital age, and I am sure there are pros and cons of using this digital technology. And because you come from that expertise, I really want to understand what are the precautions, what are the aspects that the the students, parents have to take when it comes to dealing with the technology, when it comes to dealing in this digital age?
Yeah. So, but a bit of a background for what I do so that what I say becomes more valid. So for the past 12 years, I have been working in the embedded security side of the uh, industry, and one of my prime objective is to make products. Right? We're talking about
Mhm.
a silicon or a chip that goes into the phone to embed security around those things, create security
Right.
solutions, protect whatever the data that goes into your device. I also work on multiple crypto accelerators.
Hmm.
These are like that goes into your phone to protect your data, encrypt, decrypt, digital
Right.
validation, and things like that. And while I do that, I'm also working on something called cybersecurity, which comes
Hmm.
from different standards, all from ISO and also from
Right.
industry. And I think in all these things, one of the most important thing our youth should really start to focus on is about the amount of information
Hmm.
that they're getting right now from internet is exponential, right?
Right.
And I think it's really important, be it you're a student, a
Hmm.
very young student, or somebody who is trying to get into a job, or somebody who's accomplished, or even a bit old. It has become more vital now than ever that people should be much more careful with what they do with the information they have,
Right.
right? In the past, the only source of information was either your book or your teacher or something that you saw on TV. But
Hmm.
now everything is really fast paced. And the amount of technology generations that are moving on is not linear anymore, right? For example, in
Right.
the past, from the time where we had our first computer with punch
Hmm.
cards to where we are right now with holding more than terabytes of information in a
Right.
small hard drive, it's linear. It's almost exponential from the graphs perspective.
Right.
So I think there are lots of education that people can get, and one of the main concepts is being digitally literate.
Right.
And it kind of covers multiple topics, right? Again, it focuses more on the youth these days because they are our future, and what they do now is going to impact them for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Because internet is such a thing, whatever they put or post or do anything, it kind of stays there forever. So for that, I do have some recommendations on how students or youth can be more careful.
Hmm.
And I think the most important part is something we call as curating information,
Okay.
right? Because whatever you get on the internet, it's not true or can't be true until it is validated. So that's
Right.
why our students should be very careful in trying to curate that information. We know lots of people who just drag information from some wiki somewhere and put it into their papers or talk to people about it more confidently. But the fact we have to realize is that all these sources of information are not vetted. They are not valid. They're just one person's opinion, or he has copied it from somewhere else and
Right.
tuned it to his own need because he was trying to submit a paper or something like that. For that, our students or this generation should be very careful with critical thinking.
Right.
What I mean by critical thinking is that before they start to adapt to that information, how they should be personally able to validate that particular information from more than one source.
Right.
So that if that is not true, and that's going to have an impact on how you form an
Hmm.
opinion on a particular technology,
Right.
or a particular aspect of how you're going to promote it later kind of
Hmm.
defines what you're going to become out of it. So please curate your information properly, be a critical thinker. And being critical thinker doesn't mean you're sitting like this and doing a lot
Right.
of thought process. It's as simple as
Yes.
validating the same source of information from different parts. Because when you do a simple Google search, you see millions of results.
Right.
That alone should be good enough for you to think, right, okay, there are different opinions for the same matter.
Hmm.
And then go on to evaluating the results. For example, if it's a technical aspect, you also know that there are many proofs out there sitting. For example, I spend a lot of time in trying to evaluate lots of white papers from our crypto
Hmm.
community. And then they provide lots of information about how a certain cryptography algorithm can be hacked or how it can be protected and things like that. So they also come with a bit good amount of source code that we can use to validate it ourselves. That's one simple example. And if you're reviewing more papers, for example, if you're trying to do your thesis
Hmm.
in your graduation, then that also helps you uh, give you more experience rather than
Right.
just doing something just for the paper part.
Hmm.
Right?
Okay.
And the other aspect I think personally is about being a good digital citizen,
Right.
or getting a good amount of social understanding. There is one very famous celebrity. He said that this generation has it really difficult, mainly from doing stupid things. Because when I was young, when I did stupid things, it was limited to my friends who I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
But now it's all there for the open world. So
Absolutely.
it's really, really tough for the current generation because they're so used to putting everything online. They want to share pictures, they want to share
Right.
videos, but they think it's for fun for now. But what you do right now will be there on the internet forever. So
Yeah.
be very, very careful on what you post, what
Right.
you write, what kind of opinion you put online, because what you say now will impact you even 30 years from now. Because you're
Absolutely.
seeing lots of
Yeah.
politicians getting into trouble for doing
Yes.
things
Yes.
in their youth, which they thought it was fun, right?
Yeah.
So there's lots
So
of
that
examples.
is getting recorded, and we are also in a state of exposing ourselves to the entire world, right? So we should be very cautious when it comes to posting, even liking or commenting on anything. So we just have to be super careful when we deal in this digital age. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome, sir.
And unfortunately, because of the how the world is working and different biases people have, the
Right.
certain community is much more getting into trouble because of other communities, because some are being
Right.
scrutinized, some are having. So please be very, very careful the amount of information you put online. Yes, it could be fun. Yes, it will be good if you're sharing something,
Hmm.
but it stays in your record forever. That's what we call a digital footprint or fingerprint. That never
Right.
goes away. And imagine you posted something antisocial or something you thought that was good now, but later it becomes a problem.
Right.
Let's say you're going to apply for a job. They don't know anything about you. The first thing they'll do is search for you on internet.
Yeah.
And if these things that are something is considered as antisocial or something completely unacceptable now, that's what your opinion will be on that person. So as a personal policy, I usually never share any of my personal information online.
Right.
I don't need the pictures of myself or my kids. I'm not saying do it like me, but please be very cautious, like what information you want to share. That kind of becomes or makes you a good digital citizen from my
Right.
perspective.
Okay.
And being a critical thinker, like
Mhm.
what we said in the past, it's also important that is your opinion going to help, right? If you're saying something negative about something or going to say something positive about a negative thing,
Right.
is it really going to help you and others? If not, please try to stay away from that because we do see a lot of people getting into trouble. I personally have hired hundreds of engineers in the last 20 years of my experience.
Right.
First thing I also do is this, and I see something negative in their LinkedIn or in their Facebook
Hmm.
or somewhere online or the blogs they create, the
Right.
information that that's a clear no. We try
Absolutely.
to keep away because most of the companies have this equal opportunity and
Right.
all other opportunistic things. So
Okay.
I'm trying to emphasize more on this because I've seen youth doing it a lot, and I
Right.
really want
Hmm.
uh, students who are at this age to be very careful. Don't go for a moment of fun. Think things from a very long-term perspective when you do things on internet.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it. And because we are talking about so many aspects, especially related to educating ourselves in this digital age, because you are connecting from Finland and you have been there for more than a decade. I really want to understand the culture of Finland, especially related to education, because I know Finnish education model is the number one education model in the world. So what is helping them to become the number one education model in the world? And can we do some quick comparison, between the Finnish education model and Indian education model, just to let our audience know what is the primary difference there?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I do agree. The way Finnish education system runs is starkly different compared to what we have in India. I know it personally because I have two daughters. One is 9 and another is 2. The, the the younger one doesn't go to school yet, but the older one is now in the third grade. And one of the best things about Finland education system is that there is no concept of private education here.
Okay.
All the schools are state-owned. That means that the education system or the curriculum or the way teachers are educated to teach the students, it's all same. And that kind of helps the system here to stabilize or standardize something pretty common. And what one of the main differences I noticed is you cannot get your kid into a school until he's 6 years old, or he or she is 6 years old. And I did challenge one of the principals in the schools, and they gave a very good explanation, and it kind of is also very scientific. What they say is until the kid is 6 years old, only thing they have, only thing their brain can do is to help their body grow. They will not grasp any information.
Right.
They will not attach themselves to any social cues, nor they will learn anything that is kind of important for them to grasp anything that affects their life. So that's why we see this difference in India, that you're sending your kid already when they're 3 and 4 to LKG and UKG. The only thing they're doing is trying to memorize things, right? Like they don't know what
Right.
ABCD is, but they can say what ABCD is.
Hmm.
They don't know what writing ABCD is, but they can actually write it all. So that kind of is a very big difference. And what we think about, oh, my kid can say all the capitals of India, or he can say all the country names with A or B, that actually doesn't help them when they grow, right? Because they would have already forgotten, or they will forget for sure,
Right.
because the actual growth or grasping age starts from 6. I noticed that in my child as well, because our first child, we were like, oh, I want her to be very proud, or we want to be proud of her. So we started
Right.
teaching A, B, C, D, everything and all. And then once we start going into school, she said, Dad, they're teaching us the same things.
Hmm.
What should I do now? I said, yeah, keep learning on. And then it kind of becomes boring for them.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And then the second important thing I noticed, or the change I noticed, is that here they don't have a concept of homework
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
exams.
Okay.
Of course, when they do some study, they have their textbooks and they say that you have to do this exercise or that. That's okay, but they do it in the school. They don't take
Right.
that homework home,
Oh, wow.
right? And then there is no concept of tests. They don't grade the children.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everybody moves on, and I think their SATs or grading system starts only from grade 5. So
Okay.
she still has 2 more years before she can
Right.
compete with her
Yes.
kids and all. But that kind of gives a very good example, right? Because while there is, so this is a very important thing for parents as well.
Hmm.
So parents put a lot of pressure on their kids
Right.
because they want their kid to do better
Hmm.
than others, not better for himself. They want to
Yeah.
do better
Ag-
than others. That's
Agree.
kind of the
Yeah.
bad, or let's say good difference in Finland,
Mm-hmm.
because parents don't have this pressure. Parents also are also a bit relaxed at home
Right.
when they come back. Uh, and then the best thing I notice myself is that every week we have a app, right? All the
Right.
teachers, what they
Hmm.
do is they fill in all the information, like what curriculum was taught to them, and how this personal or this particular kid performed. And they don't say they did good or bad. They say that they learned this and was okay with it. They learned this and was okay with it. And
Nice.
then, and it's an app, it's there all the
Hmm.
time for us to evaluate. And every 6 months, there is also something called student evaluation. So what they do is
Okay.
they invite the parents. The student is not there. They invite the parents to say that, like, your kid worked like this. I think this is the area they should improve, and this is how we want to continue training your kid. So there's kind of a specialized attention for each kid.
Right.
So from that perspective, I believe that's why the education system is better.
Hmm.
And I also see while she's only in third grade, the standard of knowledge that a
Hmm.
third grade student in India
Right.
has compared to somebody in Finland is
Hmm.
much, much higher.
Right.
So Indian students have more knowledge,
Hmm.
or the amount of information that is thrown into students' head is much more higher compared to here. So I think that that's why I believe that once they reach to seventh or eighth grade, they have much more capacity to grasp your information, and they're able to do things more analytical. The
Okay.
textbooks I see are also, for example, if you take math,
Hmm.
the way they teach math is very different. There is lots of pictorial representation. I mean,
Right.
just for same equation is a big word, but let's say there is 10 minus
Hmm.
40 or something like that. For the same thing, they make it do it multiple times, like different
Right.
times. So that
Right.
kind of connects, lets your child's brain connect multiple different thoughts that, yeah,
Absolutely.
there is one solution, but you can do it in different ways. So,
Yeah. True. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. I think that's very, very helpful. And I'm sure there is a lesson both for the parents as well as the students as well. And now, because we are talking about students, we have a lot of students who watch this video. What are your top three, maybe tips or best practices that they can follow because they are growing children? What can they do to grow to succeed?
wow, that's a tough one, right? Because every every student is different, and
Yeah.
there can't be one unique solution for all. But if I'm speaking from my experiences, I think few things that you can learn or to keep focused is one is to, again, like we started earlier with this, do
Mhm.
not be disheartened with where you are right now.
Right.
You will always change, right? So please continue your hard work, and do not think that just because you didn't get it now, you won't get it later. It can be a simple math problem as well, right? Treat it as like that. You
Right.
have a sum, you can't do it yourself, but you reach out to your friend or your teacher, they will help you understand. It was something similar like that.
Hmm.
Everything in your life. Don't think that you're alone. You have your parents, you have your siblings. Learn to talk to them, right?
Right.
I mean, they are your biggest source of support and information. Please utilize it. Most people don't do it because somehow our youth has this feeling that they are better or know much
Right.
better than others. So while it is true in many terms because you are getting a new generation education,
Hmm.
but there are also lots of experience you can learn from people before you. So please talk to as many people as possible. Second thing I would say is to keep your communication as clear, brisk, and soft as possible, right?
Right.
Because what you say is not as important as how you say it.
Hmm.
I hope you get that right,
Right.
because you can say one word in a very soft manner and at
Mhm.
the same time say it in a way that it kind of hurts or gives others, right?
Absolutely.
So please have a good communication strategy for yourself, because that is what is going to define you
Yeah.
for rest of your life. Because humble persons are, respected more, you're
Right.
remembered more, and people only remember how you treated them
Right.
or how they got treated by you. They don't usually remember the information. They only remember, oh yeah, that's a good guy. He spoke really well.
Yes.
And that's something I have also learned a very
Yeah.
hard way.
Yeah.
So, uh, I personally believe it should be completely illegal
Hmm.
to send out a student without having a proper communication training,
Yeah.
because that defines them as an individual and also as a contributor or an entrepreneur for future. And I believe if you have an opportunity to get some tips and tricks on how to get a proper or
Hmm.
soft skills training or emotional intelligence training,
Right.
please jump onto it, grasp it. They won't teach you something that's going to change your life immediately, but they
Mhm.
will definitely teach you on how to approach certain situations and how
Right.
you can deal with them, right? Because
Okay.
you don't want to be in a regrettable state few years later that, oh, I would have dealt this situation different had I known
Yeah.
this. So please learn that.
Amazing insight, sir. Thank you so much. I understand you also have more points to discuss.
Yeah, so after the soft skills, I think one of the more important thing I would like all the students to, or even people who are trying to get into jobs, right, is to create targets for yourself, right? I mean, for example, you might have a target to clear GRE or something like that that could help you for higher educations in other countries. What I would recommend is to, once you set up those targets, make a plan and also ask this question every day until you have achieved the target is what have I done to achieve the target today, right? Have you done enough education? Have you done enough research, or have you practiced enough math and analytical questions, or have you studied enough English to clear the area and things like that? So please be focused, and it's also good to have distractions every once in a while so that your brain starts to feel refreshed and rewired. Don't be sitting in front of your books 28 or
Right.
48 hours. Take those breaks, give your brain an opportunity to think about something else. So once it comes back, you feel fresh. So I think I've parted too much knowledge at this point, or information. So again, I also want to give an opportunity for everyone who's trying to get into higher studies, like planning to get out of India to get higher education, or within India, if you are trying to get some jobs and crack some interviews and things like that.
Right.
Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn with the type of position you're trying to get in, or the
Hmm.
technology you want to get in. I'll be more than happy to help you personally to get into, or trying to understand, giving you an insight on what an interview or a hiring manager might ask you of, and then hopefully it will help you land a job.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. I think that's really promising, and that's an assurance from you, and that you are there in Finland to support whoever needs, to find a job and then any other opportunity. Thank you so much for joining us with us today, Parvez, sir. Really appreciate your valuable time, and I am sure everyone, if you're watching this video, I am sure and confident that this session was super helpful. And yes, sir is. Government school, college student, and then he used to drop door to door newspapers. And today, look at him. He is the director of engineering and product management, and he has led so many projects in the cybersecurity domain. And he is in Finland and is extending all the warm wishes, best wishes to every student who wants to aspire to succeed in life. And yes, you can also be a superstar in the future and become a leader, someone like Mr. Parvez Sheikh, sir. So thank you so much, sir. It was really fantastic connecting with you today. And I am sure we will stay in touch. And once again, thank you. And I hope you have a fantastic day ahead and enjoy your weekend, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences and knowledge. I hope if at least one or two aspiring students gain something from my experience, I think I would call that a success for myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye for now. Take care.
Bye.